what I absolutely like about the public sector is that everyone is so willing to share, so willing to sort of look at sharing examples, best practice, bringing services in from other areas. And for me, that is a real strength.
We're in quite privileged conversations. People do trust us to be quite sensitive.
Hello and welcome to the Public Sector I You Unplugged podcast. I'm joined today by colleagues from our regional collaborative of organisations that we work with. I'm Rebecca Davis, Chief Executive of West Midlands Employers, and I'll let my guests introduce themselves.
Thanks, Rebecca. I'm Gillian Bishop, Chief Executive at North West Employers.
Thank you. Stuart Young, Executive Director, East Midlands Councils.
Hi, I'm Phillips. I'm Director of Policy and Internal Services at South West Councils.
Fabulous. And listeners, we've produced a series of podcasts and we've talked a little bit about what we are as organisations and a little bit about some of the areas and services that we deliver. But on this podcast, we're going to focus a little bit on what it's like to work at a regional level and some of the experiences we've got of leading organisations in that regional space and some of the skills and challenges and opportunities we face. So from my perspective, I absolutely love working at a regional level. It's an absolute pleasure to work with so many different organisations, but just interested on your perspective and what are the things that you absolutely enjoy about the role?
I'm happy to start, if that's okay,
no,
Stuart.
go
And like you, absolutely love the diversity of working across a regional footprint. And as most regions, we're very diverse. So what is right for Cumbria is different, and for what's right in Greater Manchester, for example. So that diversity, and no day is ever the same. I think we talked previously about the types of services, the breadth of support that we provide. So although you might plan your day or your week, actually there can always be something that comes in left field that does need your attention. So I think that diversity, that ability to be flexible, to be agile, to be responsive, but ultimately being independent and trusted, I think, is the real benefit of the roles that we do at the regional level.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a fantastic role. I really enjoy it. It's very varied. And you work with a range of partners on a range of issues at different times, both at the national and regional, local level. So we work with different regional organisations. We work with national government departments, for example. We work with local authorities. We work with local VCSs. So it's very varied, very interesting. You have to be very flexible. You have to be adaptive, and be fortunate enough to work alongside a very talented team. That's the real asset base, very talented team. And I always think organisations, I speak for ourselves, slightly boldly, I know it'd be the same for yourselves, punch above our weight. But it's important that we do. But it is varied, and it's sometimes uncertain because you're not quite sure the balance between influence, mandate, the traction that you may necessarily have, but that's all part of the varied mix of day-to-day work, really.
Yeah, I think for us, again, it's about that variety and being able to have that sort of over picture of the whole strategic view of the region, being able to bring all the partners together, all the public sector organisations, that have to work closely to deliver services across the region, and bringing those together, I think, is really, really valuable. And I enjoy definitely the variety, being able to pull those pieces together, join people up, and just having that strategic oversight really of the region, and having, I think, being able to influence and kind of help inform national policy, I think gives us a really good platform to be able to do that. And we've got, the mechanisms in place already to be able to have the right conversations at the right time to try to respond to things quite quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It is certainly a varied role, but then I think local government itself isn't it? And I think for us, part of what we find really unique is the ability to collaborate. In so many organisations, it's about competition or competitors. And what I absolutely like about the public sector, and particularly the way we work as regional organisations, is that everyone is so willing to share, so willing to sort of look at sharing examples, best practice, bringing services in from other areas. And for me, that is a real strength really of the sector, but also of the regional organisational bodies and working with national partners. It's the ability to really stay focused on what we're all trying to deliver, and park any politics or organisational boundaries at the door.
And you say that the benefit of us working at a regional level is we are able to identify and shine a light on the great work that is being done. And one of the benefits that we have is people will contact us because they know that we are a connector, that we are a convener, and that we are able to bring people together. So if there's challenges, how do we face them together? Or if there's successes, how do we celebrate them together? Or actually, how do we just be that connector, be that glue that actually creates the benefit of the sector, the sharing, the learning, and we do it together for the benefit of each individual authority, but us as a collective, both regionally and now across us as as a national level, as regional organisations.
And it is rewarding to be able to provide that conduit, that platform for joint leadership, where you see council leaders from across the region come together willingly to work together on matters that are of common concern or common priorities for them. You see that with chief officers or chief executives coming together willingly to work together, to address similar issues. And actually the bridge as well, for want of a better phrase, to working with MPs collectively, because our issues, local authorities' issues, MPs, constituent issues, those challenges are very, very similar. But actually being able to provide a forum so we can work better with MPs that we do. We had a regional group, an APPG of MPs that we work closely with. It helps us work with government, for example, in terms of delivering what the priorities are for the East Midlands.
And I do think we're in quite privileged conversations. People do trust us to be in quite sensitive, high profile, but the conversations that we have, whether it's on behalf of the region with our MPs or within our authorities on some of their key issues, I certainly, find and value that, those privileged conversations and the way that colleagues feel that they can come to us as an organisation, and myself and my colleagues does really put us in a trusted position, which we value and I think they value as well.
Yeah, I think off the back of that, it's kind of been that sounding board, isn't it? So sometimes before they have to go and inform and make those big decisions, whether it's on a local level, regional level, or national level, they know they can come and talk to us, talk it through, kind of get the different angles and the different viewpoints so that they can then make their final decisions and how they present it back, and how they move forward with it. But I think they really value having those offline conversations sometimes, as well as those informed conversations when we have them as part of agenda items, etc., for our networks and our forums. And I think them being able to inform that as well. So quite often, for our networks and forums, we have chairs that are local for work for either within the councils or sometimes voluntary sector organisations that come and share the agendas with us, help inform what's the challenges, what do they want to talk about, and have those conversations at that local level and regional level before, like I say, taking it back on a national page.
Yeah, absolutely. And being able to work with different parts of the public sector as well is a real privilege, I think, and very unique to this type of role. I know we all lead regional organisations, but what are some of the challenges you find personally into leading those organisations? I know for me it's the agility. It's hard to manage sometimes internally within teams where that people have stability and work programs, and then a new priority will come in and suddenly we're pivoting or we're trying to do something new that we've not done before, and that is always a bit of a tension between that natural inclination to say yes, that's what our organisation's about, versus how to sort of manage that internally. And just wondered if you've got similar experiences or other challenges that you have to manage as leaders of regional organisations.
What you're just saying there, being able to respond, and we want to be able to respond, but we are small. Funding is limited, so it's always trying to work out how we can do that in a most cost-effective way, but provide a service that is, tangible and efficient and provides what is needed. And I think that is sometimes quite difficult to try and juggle that and the different priorities around trying to deliver what members want and deliver what the region wants and needs, really.
Mm.
Yeah, there can be frustrations because sometimes you have to make a call about what you can, as an organisation, do, what you can't do, because if you're going to do something, you need to do it well. You need to be able to prioritise and resource it to enable you to do it well. But similar to you, it's agility. That can bring, that requirement can bring with it some frustration sometimes, because that can bring with it sometimes a lack of certainty for colleagues as well. Either certainty in terms of absolutely knowing where this may go in the next 6, 9 or 12 months. Challenges in terms of mandate sometimes. Challenges in terms of, relationship management, partnership management can be the most rewarding thing in the world. It can also be pretty frustrating at times as well. But that's the nature of what we do. And that's we almost say kind of raison d'etre. Relationship and partnership management, whether that's working with politicians, whether it's working with chief officers or more junior officers, or organisationally. But that's our role, and that's what we need to fulfil. And it does, it does require a range of skills, and you do have to be agile. The trick is always to say, make sure you surround yourself with very, very good, talented people. That does help.
Completely agree. And I think responsiveness as well. We've talked about it because a lot of the time when the phone goes or the email pops in, it's because people really need you at that time. So I guess, from a personal kind of leadership challenge or an organisational challenge, how do you make sure that you are there when it matters? Because when somebody picks up the phone or does need you, it is that that is when they are really very much wanting to reach out. And as you say, it may not be for 1 year or two, but actually it's at that point. So being responsive as well as agile, and knowing that could be on any topic. You never know what that might be. So I guess being ready to provide support, but then signpost, guide, and to work with, or sometimes as well to say, well, we'll probably just need to take a minute, to really think this through, because ultimately we want the right outcome. So I agree, agility, but I think responsiveness, timeliness, and being able to work across a diverse set of issues as local government is, but in a timely and responsive way, I think, are some of the key challenges, but we constantly rise to them, don't we?
Absolutely. And I think those calls often come in at 4 p.m. on a Friday, don't they?
They
It
do
seems to be
indeed.
the time where people need us most.
It's like we were talking about diaries earlier, and you know generally what you're going to do through the week, or you have some idea, but you can never anticipate the side swipe that you're going to get 2 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. And there is a world of difference between one of your partners saying, we're thinking about a bit of work, we'd appreciate your support on this over the coming weeks or months, that's fine, as opposed to, we have this urgent matter, it's a priority, and we need your help and support on. And that whatever, no matter what, you will do it, but you have to be very flexible in terms of making sure you do it and you do it well.
Yeah, and I think the more we do that just builds that trust, and builds the relationship, doesn't it? And I think the more we can do that and respond in that way, the more that they'll come to us. We recently there was an event that was happening that needed regional response, literally the day before Christmas Eve. Information needed to be collated. We had to work through that, some of that time through Christmas and New Year to respond to it by the 2nd of January. But we stood up, we did it. It was challenging, but we got the result and we got over the line with it. So I think the more we can prove that we can do that, the more that I think that builds that trust in our organisations, and they think they can understand what it is that we can deliver on their behalf.
Absolutely. It definitely is an evolution, isn't it? And I think in some ways it's not just the what we do, it's the how we do it. And the values of our organisations are integral to that, aren't they? I know from a WME perspective, 2 of our values are around honesty and trust, because that's the space in which we operate, and we constantly challenge ourselves. Are we being trusted? Are we being honest? If we've got something wrong, we need to own it, say it, deal with it. Just tell me a little bit about how your values in your organisation are absolutely inherent to you being able to deliver what you do.
So we have a set of high-level objectives that, like I say, were shared and agreed upon by across all of the members across the South West region. So they kind of understand at that level what it is that we do. But I do think the key is around transparency and having the evidence to back up. So whatever it is we're saying on behalf of the region, that we have the evidence to back it up. And I think being able to go out directly to our local authorities, they respond to us quickly. So if we need data, information to be able to respond to a consultation or an ask from central government, then we can do that quite quickly. So I think that helps being able to, I think that trust really, and it's back to the key, isn't that relationship? It's relationships and trust really. I think that really keeps that going.
Absolutely good. The only thing I'd add is making sure that you always demonstrate competency, professionalism. You maintain those high standards, and I think that's something that we just make clear across the organisation. Because if you're delivering support on behalf of a member council, for example, it's always got to be of the highest quality.
And our the acronym of our values is trusted. We asked our members what is it that they valued from us. We asked our team members, and trusted is our acronym for our values, of which we've talked about today. And it is that authenticity, isn't it? Actually, our mantra is very much we need to practice what we preach. So if we're talking about equality, diversity and inclusion, or if we're talking about succession planning and talent, actually we look inwards as well and say, well, how do we do that? How well are we doing that? Because if we're working with our organisations and our members on a key topic, I want to be able, for all of us to be able to be authentic and say, well, we're doing that ourselves as well as working with you on that. And I think that is really important as well for our members to see that we're part of their community, and we'll live and breathe some of the similar issues that they do, and we take action accordingly as well.
Absolutely. And I think that ability to relate and to demonstrate that we sit alongside you as an organisation, but we are ultimately showing best practice in certain areas. We've got to make sure we are doing what we say as well, practicing what we preach, and that it adds pressure sometimes, doesn't it, internally within the organisation. It's been absolutely fabulous to speak to you all through this series of podcasts, but I think that insight really into the types of organisation we are and the way we work is really important for people to understand not just what we do, but a little bit about the how we do it as well. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us for the Public Sector I You Unplugged series with colleagues from across our regional collaboration of organisations. Thank you.